Okay, so most of you in the industry are probably familiar with EDDM, and that's every door direct mail. We do a lot of that for our customers. It's super easy because you don't have to worry about purchasing mailing list. You select entire routes and you pay a cheap, it's like 21 cents a piece to mail it if you're using EDDM retail. Now, EDDM retail does have some limitations. For instance, there's a limit of 5,000 pieces that you can mail in a day. And we used to do really large campaigns, and we would try to hack our way around that by creating multiple USPS accounts and like 4 accounts, and then we'd be able to just send 20,000 in a day, but then we'd have to go to a post office and process all these. And they always seem to accept them for whatever reason. Anyways, the way that you really need to do that is you should have a mailing permit at your local post office, assuming your local post office is a BMEU, a business mail entry unit. Not every post office is, but typically the larger post offices in your area are going to be a BMEU. So wherever you have your permit at, you must make sure that your permit is tied into your business customer gateway through the US Post Office website. I was talking to a buddy that owns another print shop in another state, and he was having an issue where his EDDM campaign kept limiting him out at 5,000. And we finally determined the reason was his permit at his local office was not tied into his online account for the business customer gateway. So that's very important. The only way I was able to make that happen was to have a meeting with my actual postmaster. So if you're not getting anywhere with the person behind the counter at the post office, meet with your actual postmaster. Ask to schedule a meeting with the actual postmaster. You might not be able to meet with them right away, but schedule a meeting, and they're usually pretty helpful with that sort of. Here's what business mail entry unit is typically right now. It's like 18 cents a piece. It used to be like 16 cents a piece if you're willing to drive the pieces to the individual post offices, which I typically do because, it saves about 3 cents from retail, which means that you're able to pocket some extra money. So some of these large campaigns, I'm able to pocket an extra $1,200, and that's worth it for me to drive around to post offices for a day and make an extra $1,200. So here's what kept me from doing BMEU for a while. When you look at the documentation on the post office website, it tells you that they want you to format the address just like this, where you have Leland, North Carolina, 28451. All right, so if you're doing a large EDDM campaign that is going to many zip codes, let's say you have 10 zip codes and you're sending 1,000 postcards to each one, just for round numbers. Well, if you outsource print like we do, if you're ordering 10 sets of 1,000 postcards, that is a lot more expensive than ordering one set of 10,000 postcards. It's a lot more expensive. And so the cost benefit of doing BMEU didn't appear to be of any benefit to us. And that's why we stuck with retail for so long. I finally had a conversation with the lady who is in charge of direct mail for the post office for North Carolina and South Carolina. And she said, don't worry about it. All you got to do is put local post customer. That's it. You can have one version. You don't have to put city and state and zip code by post office. Just put local post customer and you're good to go. The other difference with EDDM obviously is the indicia, pre-sorted standard U.S. postage paid. That's our permit number in Whiteville, North Carolina. So therefore, that's how we pay for it. We have to go to the post office, put money on our account, and it gets debited once we turn these in. I would say the most confusing part of this, Lamar is going to be driving to Leland today, and the people behind the counter at the post office are so incredibly used to EDDM retail that they think that you have to give them something to scan and process and to pay for right there with a check, or show that you paid it online and all that stuff. And really, it's going through the permit of your local post office. So if you have trouble with those people behind the counter, just tell them, look, it's permit number 19 in Whiteville. If you have any questions about it, give them a call. It's within the system at Whiteville. They're going to know about it. You're going to get to know your local postal people. The people at our post office love us. Our shop is called Mr. Postman, and they refer people to us all the time. I jokingly tell them I'm just an imposter, but they are great. They refer people to us all the time. So they're like, people will come in there wanting to do a bulk mail campaign and they don't know where to start. They tell them to go see Mr. Postman. They have a stack of my business cards and they refer business to me, and they're great. I did have a situation yesterday where a client sent me an EDDM campaign that they had printed, and they're out of state and they wanted me to process a local direct mail campaign for them. And I told them that it needed to be bundled into bundles of 100 because we have to provide it to the post office that way. And that's one of the reasons why I like to outsource this work, because we have to bundle it in bundles of 100, and I really would rather not do that. And it got here and it was not bundled. But here's what I did. I made a little jig that I counted out 100 pieces of the postcards, lined it up with this. I drew a line, cut the jig, and we were able to use this jig to quickly count out 100 pieces of postcards, just like that. As you can see, I'm in the Mr. Postman van, and this is kind of what it looks like when it's loaded down with an EDDM campaign. So we have 21,000 postcards that are going to the entire zip code for Leland, North Carolina. So you can see the van is incredibly useful for doing EDDM campaigns, and I really can't stand to be without it, because otherwise that would take many trips in the wife's Ford Explorer. So I hope you found this every door direct mail video a little bit useful for your business. I appreciate you watching today. If you can, give me a thumbs up, like and subscribe. I'll see you next time.